Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Selection Sunday. I am your host and founder of ReBorn Gaming, Nathaniel Shook, and I cannot wait to get started today as we're going to go through an entire restructuring of the Smash Ultimate Series here at ReBorn Gaming design and the way we run tournaments. And I hope that you all are tuning in and you guys are excited for what's to come. I know we had a little bit of a hiccup. Originally, this was supposed to be slated for beginning of March, February. However, recent things happened where due to COVID, we would have to push it back. So we are thankful to be able to have this discussion here for you guys to tune in on this wonderful Sunday morning. We're premiering this live, so you can comment down below how you think everything's going. But we're going to get into the process of the restructuring of ReBorn Gaming, and specifically with the Smash Ultimate Series. So let's get on the way. So to start things off, we're going to talk about hard reset and what that means going forward. So in 2020, starting on July 11th, which is soon, in about a couple weeks, ReBorn Gaming will be starting its season opener with hard reset. However, this will be the first ever doubles only tournament. Now, I know what you all are thinking. Doubles only? Really? But for us, this is a really good stepping stone to creating a better league and better experience for our players. So with this doubles only format, it will allow for more accessibility for new players and also cater to double specialists, meaning players who are specifically more geared towards a doubles environment. Along with that, this also greatly reduces the amount of time it takes to complete said tournament. So, in other words, this means no longer will these events be all day. Though, admittedly, I do enjoy all day Smash events and hanging out with every single player there, or every participant or viewer. The reality is we want to make sure we're effective, getting our matches done in a timely manner while still having fun and having more competitive atmosphere and more of a family bonding session. This in turn will allow players not to get burnt out and encourage more team-oriented play and viewing. So with that though, we have also made another shift. Starting in around the August-September range, we will be having the Smash Open. This is my personal favorite tournament, and it's going to be a singles only tournament. This in turn will kind of counteract the doubles only tournaments. So it will allow for more competitive and more experienced players to distinguish their individual skill, and then to also cater to those who are specializing in singles play only. So people who have been playing Smash for a long period of time, who are used to the singles format, will have a greater time and greater feel for this as well. In the past, we've noticed that doubles tournaments typically take around 2 to 2.5 hours to complete, whereas singles is vastly different, ranging from anywhere from 3.5 hours to 5 with last stock championships for 2019. So by splitting these two things up, we are now able to dedicate half days to these tournaments, using our time appropriately and not allowing burnout for our players or viewership. Again, this is all in the hopes to create a more team-friendly environment. And we'll talk about that more as we discuss the team. Now, with that being said, trust me, I still hear you on the overall all-day feel of a tournament. That's why I'm happy to say in 2020, near the very end, about November or December, give or take, the last stock championships for 2020 will still be an all-day event. Now, the way we do these are going to be a little bit different, and this is where we like to discuss how each tournament is going to be ran. For the previous ones, for Hard Reset and Smash Open, we are looking to have a pools start to the tournament where everyone is divided up into specific pools and they play each one, and it will be a best of one. Now, with that, depending on the attendance, we will allow for players either to all advance to the bracket stage or majority of players to go to the bracket stage. That way, we at least guarantee players anywhere from 4 to 5 guaranteed matches. With that, in bracket play, we also want to get more experience and grow the community and its players and skill levels. So in turn, those brackets will be double elimination. However, with the Last Stock Championships, this is where it gets different. Where the championships will be an all-day event where top players will compete in both singles and doubles while giving the option for other players to join. Why? Well, because there's no pools. In my overall excitement of bringing you guys the top 10 pools, the reality is it took too long and we weren't able to effectively meet the required time that we had set out for as ReBorn Gaming. So what that means is now there is more emphasis on showing up to tournaments prior to Last Stock, becoming better at doubles, but also understanding the importance of singles. And understanding that the weight that a player will get in regards to points accumulated on the winner's side will be far greater than that in losers. So Nate, why do this? Well, again, even though it's going to be an all-day event, we still want to be able to get done in a timely fashion. Now, for those who don't make it into the upper echelon, who don't qualify point-wise for Last Stock Championships, there's still something that we can do. There will be a bracket for those who do not qualify for others to compete. So you can still compete in your tournament. You can still accumulate points for your team. I know what you're thinking. Well, how is that possible? Well, I'm actually glad you asked. It leads us to our next part of this presentation, which we are so happy to introduce to you. We have now revamped all of the teams. The teams you once knew, well, some of them are still there, but not all of them. And I understand. Oh, my logo wasn't on there. Oh, my team isn't on there. But we got the best ones that visually are more appealing and have a differential in regards to coloring. Pardon my horrible broken grammar in English. So instead of having 12 to 15 esports-esque teams, we've now switched it to only 5 teams. This means only 5 teams will be able to compete towards the series championship. But I know what you're thinking. Nate, I see 10 logos there. What do you mean there's only 5? Well, I'm actually glad you asked. So what we are doing is also creating 2 types of league systems in Major League and Minor League settings. So as you can tell from the graphic above, we have Team Dignity, Cerberus, Primordial, Majesty, and Thanatos as the 5 main teams. But if you look lower, there is a subdivision. There is the minor league teams associated with their parent team. So with Dignity is the Exalts. With Cerberus, I forget the name. With Primordials, it's Omen. With Majesty, it is Divinity. And with Thanatos, it is the Rogues. And if I have any of these logos and names mispronounced or I'm not correct, I do apologize. We will have a graph and a graphic later down as a picture, PNG, you can download to better know the team name and who's on it. Now, again, because I understand as a competitor, it's very confusing when you restructure an entire league from where it was before. Now, as we talked about, last season we saw a massive growth spurt in the amount of players. In fact, I'm happy to report we have 66 active Smash players. Whereas previously noted in 2017 and 18, this number was not nearly as close, and that we doubled the amount of people who have actually attended. On top of that, we have had a max of 74 people in one building throughout the entirety of said tournament. This is greatly important, but it also means there's a need to restructure things to make sure that what we produce, to make sure that what tournaments that we run do not disrespect other people's opportunity and time. So this is why we created the major and minor league system. And now how we keep point totals is going to be the same, right? What you get in your pools and bracket play will tie into your overall team score. But with the major and minor league system, it's a little bit different, and values are kind of split up accordingly. Let's look. So you have 4 players, roughly, and this is an estimate, assuming that all teams have 8. There will be a possibility for more. So this is still a fluid thing going on. But assume your top 4 are in your major league. And the bottom 4 on your team are minor league players. Okay? This is all determined on based off last year's rankings. So if you didn't show up and you're a little bit low on the points, I apologize. But you may be placed in a minor league team system. But don't worry. There's always an opportunity to move up. But at first let's figure this out. So the top 4 players will accumulate points and they will tie into their major team or major league team score. So your major league team is going to be competing against the other 4 major league teams in the Smash Ultimate Series to see who is first place. So you guys in doubles and in singles will be competing to see who will take home the major league championship. On the flip side, the minor league teams will be doing the same thing. Those 4 players will be accumulating scores and they will be competing specifically with minor league teams. They will accumulate their scores and see and determine who is the champion of the minor league, who is the minor league champion. But as we notice in bright big gold is the overall team score of 168. This value is determined on the addition of both the major and minor league team scores. This will give you your overall team score and determine who is the team series winner, right? So now what we're trying to cultivate is a more team-like atmosphere. Not only do we bring together more teams, but now we also give the opportunity for both minor league players, lower skill ceilings, and more skilled players the opportunity to compete within their own skill group. At the same time, this will also encourage higher skilled players and lower skilled players to come together and root for their specific team. This is vitally important to cultivate that team atmosphere, and we are so excited to be able to bring that to you. Now, in regards to, well, Nate, I didn't attend a lot of tournaments last year, and so my point score is going to be really low from last year's standings. What can I do if I don't want to be in the minor league? Well, we have just the answer for you. We have put in place a ReBorn Smash Ultimate Series relegation system. What does this mean? Well, what the actual word means, right? If a person does not perform to standards, they will be then relegated down to minor league. But a person who exceeds expectations will then be moved up to major league. Now, if we look at the previous graphic, we notice that player 4, in this sense, player 1, and player 5, which in this slide is player 2, scored differently. Player 1 scored 19 in the major league, but a player in the minor league scored 26. Now, there is no threshold to determine whether or not you've passed up to major league, but simply it's a ranking system within the overall team to determine who is major and who is minor. So if someone in the minor league outperforms those in major leagues, next season they will be swapped in that position, and they will get their shot at a major league chance and chance for championship. This, again, not only strengthens engagement with your team, but also as a competitive player. It will encourage more try hard, right? And cultivate an atmosphere to keep improving your skill. Even if you don't want to, and you don't want to move up the ranks, you can still easily just casually play. And if you get moved up to majors, you get moved up to majors. Regardless, major and minor league players will still be competing in the same tournament like Hard Reset and Smash Open. This will also include last stock championships depending on the point threshold that each player gets. And even if they don't make that championship threshold, they still have a minor league tournament that they can attend. Or, in other words, amateur bracket they can go into. This way, no one has an excuse not to play a match, and everyone can experience the joy of actually playing Smash both in the casual and competitive setting. And we cannot wait to see the future of the Smash Ultimate Series for ReBorn Gaming. And we hopefully look forward to your involvement later down the road as we open it off with Hard Reset July 11th. This is Nate, and this is the beginning of Smash Ultimate Series Selection Sunday for the 2020 season. We're so glad you're tuning in today. Don't worry, we have more coverage of the team restructuring coming up in a couple hours, actually, where we will do the first rounds of player selections in their new respective teams. And you heard me right, new respective teams. So be on the lookout for your name. If your name is not called in this moment, it means that means you didn't make the threshold, but that means you are a free agent. Any team can pick you up, and ReBorn Gaming staff will be able to work with you from there. So, again, this is Nate signing out, and I look forward to seeing you in about 1 to 2 hours for the first round of Selection Sunday. Have a great day.